Hello, guys, and welcome back to the NT Podcast. I'm your host, Darkass707.
Along with the captain of TBZ, tendons, or whatever you want to call me. I don't really care, but hey, we got Kraze on the podcast today. You might know him from his own channel, and I know he definitely is someone who has quite the knowledge of this game. So I really appreciate you coming on, man. And I'm definitely looking forward to getting the chance to talk with you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. I know it's a little later than a normal podcast episode would be, so I appreciate you being able to make time and everything for that. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, really looking forward to this for sure. I don't know if there's anything in particular we need to address before we kind of jump in, or if there's anything you wanted to say as far as maybe like an introduction or just kind of anything in that regard. But
Nah, I'm good if you don't have anything to say.
no, Dark, did you have anything just to kind of get things rolling, or want to just jump into
Well,
it?
and some of the things I actually wanted to talk about some things like, not like, Wildflower. I want to talk about her later, and then I also want to talk about
Yeah.
SSH, of course, which they got like 7 million races, like. Very recently, they hit 7 million races, and Krace actually hit 100K team races as well. So, congrats.
Hey, congrats, bro. Yeah, for real, man. It's awesome. 100K on one team.
Thanks, guys.
Crazy. I
Yeah,
can't
I know.
imagine.
I've been
Man,
on SSH for since 2020, so it's
wow.
been a while.
Yeah, man, no, that's crazy, man. Over half your lifetime races somewhere, and a lot over half because your lifetimes you hit 125K not too long ago, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I'm
wow.
not even at 130K yet.
The majority of your races, really, wow. Yeah, man, I don't even have that many between all the versions of TBZ. That's my own team, man. Nah, for real, that's awesome, bro. And yeah, 7 million races, like SSH, kind of like Wildflower, they're just so far ahead of any other team. It's like the question is not like, if anyone can ever catch them. It's just when will they hit the next milestone, which is 10 million races, I guess, is the next mark for them.
Yep.
But yeah, that's just crazy to see that, what can happen when I guess a team is able to find success and actually stays around for years instead of just either fading out or, literally disbanding. So yeah, I mean, huge shout out to Volatile as well for bringing the team that far and still being with the game for so many years. That must be hard to do in its own right, I'm sure.
Yeah, 3 mil
Yeah, it's
team races to
crazy.
go. 3 mil team races to go.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
sir.
I think it's coming up, man. Sooner than people will realize. I'm talking about this now, and soon I'll be making a video about it, and then doing the same thing I've been doing. But yeah, no, that's awesome. But yeah, no, for sure. Congrats, man. I know there was a couple other people I think not too long ago that hit 100K. Isn't Mighty super close to that? Or did
Mighty
he
Mighty got it actually yesterday.
oh, he
So
pit.
did
Wow.
Bluer. Both Bluer and Mighty got it. That's what I was saying in my video. Like three people getting 100K team races within a week.
Yeah, I knew Bluer did, but I didn't know if Mighty had or not. Okay, huh? You guys should have done it on the same race or something, man. That could have worked out pretty cool.
Yeah, that
But
would have been
nah,
really
for real though,
cool.
that's awesome.
But honestly, I didn't even know
Yeah.
Mighty and Bluer hit it like yesterday. But congrats to them
Well,
if it
Bluer
worked.
was
Yeah,
a little bit ago, but yeah, congrats to everyone for sure. If you guys are tuning into the podcast. So yeah, that's really awesome to see. And I know there's a lot of other people on that team that have the really high race counts and have been around for a long time. So you can tell it's the kind of place where, it's not just like, oh, we're all here to grind to first on the leaderboard. Like it's a much more real atmosphere that's been developed over there. So yeah, it's always awesome to see on the game. So yeah, congratulations to everyone involved in that. But as far as like SSH goes, do you think you are going to be racing heavily on the team in the future, or you kind of be more chilled with your racing?
honestly, I think I'm just gonna stick to what I've been doing recently, which is like 300 a day, and just see where it takes me, I guess. Because I know Bluer is gonna pass me since he does like 700 to 800 a day. So I'm not
Okay.
gonna really try and compete with him.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Right.
What
I
about
mean, yeah, it's
oops, sorry for interrupting you again. What about Legend Typer? Because I know he got his account back recently. How much does he race on SSH like on a daily basis?
Well, recently he's been going pretty hard. He's fifth in the season right now, and he's been doing like 1,000 a day, I think, a little more than that.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, he's gone pretty insane before. I remember like when TBZ came back in May. I'm pretty sure he was a
Yeah,
top tier racer then.
wasn't he
So
the first person to hit 10K team races? I think.
yeah, he was the first person to ever hit 10K on this version of TBZ, and yeah, he was like way ahead of everyone for a little while there when he did that. I remember. Oh yeah,
Speaking about
But yeah,
yeah.
Legend hit like
well, as I was saying, speaking about speaking about TBZ attendance, what's like the highest like team races for TBZ?
Of all time,
Yeah,
I mean, like if you're talking about across every version or just on this single version of it, do you mean?
it would be across every version. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess even still, it's probably still Monster to be honest with you, with like 73,000 on this version of it. I mean, between all the versions, I probably have like about 60,000 or something because I did a lot on the original one, and then there was another version I had grinded on. But even then, I mean, it might not even be that many, honestly. I don't know. Yeah, there's probably nobody with an insane amount even across all of them, to be honest with you. It probably is like Monster and Heartless and people like that who weren't exactly around for the early days of TBZ in the first place.
yeah,
well,
But
you gotta think too, like when you originally had TBZ, that was on long races. So definitely getting a lot of team races back then must have been much harder.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember on that version in like a month and a half or so, I think I'd gotten like 35,000 team races and then I just disbanded it to join SYN. Yeah, that was definitely a hard loss to take, thinking about how many races I had on there and just like how much went into that team. But at the same time, I mean, when it's you and one other person or two other people, carrying a team entirely and you're first in the season, like it's not exactly good for the mental health. It's a
yeah,
little too much. I mean, I wish that I didn't disband for the sake of the people on the team, but like for my own sake, it wouldn't have been good to force myself to keep going. And like getting to be on SYN, like that was an experience that was once in a lifetime. Regardless
Yeah.
of how people feel about PJ or the team or anything, like that experience is once in a lifetime. So, I mean,
yeah, for sure.
but yeah,
Speaking about
yeah, not to get, okay, yeah, so.
Well, I want to talk about SYN real quick because I don't know much about it, but I've read stuff about it in the wiki, and it must have been like a pretty interesting team, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely was an interesting experience when I was on it. But of course, I was not on the original version. The team was all the way from 2015, and back in the day, they were. I think that they were originally like really good on the speed leaderboards, if I'm not mistaken. But they were already really well known back in old school in Nitro Type, and then when they came back in 2019, for a while, I remember people were like saying that TBZ was a ripoff of SYN, even though I had made the team like days before I even knew like that he was coming back, and like I had no idea who PJ was at the time. So I'm like, I don't know like what these guys are talking about. But it was funny because it ended up going from that to like I remember one day PJ literally messaged me like, I mean, I don't want to say begging, but it's like, I mean, it was kind of very desperate to get me to join once Pandora had quit grinding and everything. But when I did end up going on the team, I mean, the experience was pretty insane. Just like the amount of effort and like coordination going into just trying to win a Nitro type season, like, it was just insane to me. It's something I've never seen before, and it's probably something I've never seen since because I've never like gone that hard with TVZ before. I've never plotted it out weeks in advance and like tried to take someone down like that. So it definitely was a once in a lifetime experience just being on that team and being amongst other people who were racing close to my level. At that time there was really nobody doing that. So even that was crazy in of itself. And that's probably how I did those two back-to-back 4K sessions, to be honest with you.
Dang, I
Oh,
can't.
did you do one of those 4K sessions on Sin?
I'm pretty sure at the very least the second one was on there, the 4885. Because I remember like talking to all of them in the SYN server when I was doing it, and I remember PJ telling me I should stop because I was talking about like the double vision I was seeing, where like trails would follow behind like more than 5 seconds behind what had actually happened. So it was like the fourth day into it. Yeah, my God, yeah. Oh, dude, that was such a mistake, but but the experience itself, it was definitely interesting being on the team and all that. Yeah, I mean, it's just insane, what ended up happening.
Yeah. Well, I know too, like something about Sin is when PJ wants to win a season and when he wants to go active with Sin, he'll do it. You know? Like
Yeah,
season 21, he wanted to beat SSH and they did it. Season 28, when he wanted to beat 5HRK, he did it. So it's like Sin always
yeah,
has like that strong core member of top grinders that will always be willing to join.
yeah.
Man,
It's interesting because I think that's gonna be like changing, and I think it almost even now it's changed. But I think like in a year or two from now, like PJ wouldn't be able to come back because so many of the people that know about SYN and actually grinded at the top level like are really gone. I feel like from the community at this point,
That's
or
true.
like they're on the way out. I feel like pretty. I don't think PJ's ever coming back either. And also, I have the SYN tag, so that would be an interesting little exchange there as well.
yeah.
But I do wish I had kept TBZ in season 26. Like, for one, it was a mistake to abandon the team, but like, because then it could have been SYN versus TBZ in season 28, and that would have been like the battle that I feel like we needed to happen. Because us in season 26 was like, we were more than double ahead of Dog, for example, and everything. Like, we would have been, well, I think, one of the most insane battles Nitro Type's seen in a single season if we got to have our two teams go head to head. Because back then we did have like a lot of the people, like Coach O'Mal and like everyone else that was grinding at the top level at that point. So it would have been something, man. I don't know, but and Five Shark absorbed our power because I joined them as soon as I disbanded TVZ, and everyone thought it was a secret plot or something to like actually join them, or I don't know. That's what Harrison was saying, of course. So you know how it is, but but yeah, I mean, it's just interesting looking back on that to kind of wonder what could have been at times, but. That's on me for disbanding, obviously. So, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's getting a little too far onto the track of me talking about myself. So let me ask you, Kraze, is there anything in particular you want to address while we're on here, or
Yeah.
nothing?
Um, all right, so this is an interesting topic to talk about. So, when the season first started this season, I don't know if you guys saw, but Kocho actually went kind of insane. And she
I
was
did
winning
hear
the
about
season
that.
for the first like day, I think.
That's the coach way. Yeah, she will
Yeah.
still do that when like pop up still in the beginning of the seasons now, right? Yeah, I got you. I think well I definitely heard someone was like, I thought Coach was supposed to be retired now. And then like she was actually grinding still and they were annoyed about it because they couldn't pass her or something. But yeah, I did hear about that and I kind of saw she was going hard. I take it she's still on that team, right? The RXV or whatever.
Yeah, she is. I doubt she's disbanding too, because she also has like she's getting kind of close to 150K team races. So
Jeez. Yeah, she does have a lot on that team. Because it wasn't like Mao who just quit grinding when he joined that team. Like she just kept on kind of going. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. 150K, dang. I didn't know it was
That's a
that much,
lot.
but
Yeah, that's a lot.
and she's also Ocho's kind of close to 400K as well, which is
yeah.
crazy because she only
Coach,
came back like she came back what like over the summer, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Didn't she go to Japan or something like that?
Yeah, who knows what the truth of that situation is.
That's
I
what
don't know,
Smoke
man.
said. One of his old videos.
Oh
Coach
man.
gets sent back to Japan. Oh my God,
Yeah,
dude.
We gotta
There
get
was a
coach.
PJ
whole
made a video on that too.
We gotta get smoke on here one of these days.
Yeah, that would be pretty legendary. I mean, I still talk to him like pretty much every day, to be honest with you, because the whole thing is it's like he's one of those people that trolls in the community, but like when you actually get to know him, he's nothing like that.
It's very
Like it's
funny
just a
and
matter
cool. Yeah.
of it's just yeah, it's like a lot of people in the community would hate on him because maybe they didn't understand like I mean I'm not gonna get anyone's business, but like but a lot of people have other things going on in their life and people don't realize that they might act a certain way because like they actually have stuff going on and they just make assumptions that like oh this person's just crappy person I'm just gonna write off. So yeah, it is like he's just one of those people that you have to get to know, I would say.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Well, I think one of the other things that like could have hurt his reputation was he kind of did what Nana did, and as soon as he got verified YouTuber, he straight up quit YouTube, and a lot of people
Yeah, I'm not
not
doing that. I'm
respecting
not
that.
doing
So,
that.
Yeah, well, you already know I'm not doing that. I think what was it? Yeah, well, no, actually, I didn't get that till recently. I forgot about that. But yeah, that is funny to think about. He did kind of just, and he privated those videos to get the verified YouTuber badge, and then he made them public again
Yeah,
once he
yeah, I
actually
noticed
got it.
that.
oh really? I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
I noticed that.
Yeah, like because I was asking him about one of the videos, like because I remembered something in there, and then he was like, sent me the link. I was like, oh, you still have those up? He's like, yeah, I just private them for like a day until I got the thing. I was like, oh my God, dude,
That
like they
was
don't even check at all.
that was a very smart move by him, honestly. I was like, oh shoot, the videos are back up, which the videos were pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean the one like the exposing the NT community. Oh my God, dude, it
Oh
was just
damn.
so ridiculous.
Oh,
There's that
I've
one
seen that
screenshot,
video. Oh my
and
god.
like the text pops up. It's like sheesh with the fire. It's just like oh my God, dude, it's so messed up. But yeah, um,
He's
I
got
don't know
the
why.
he's got the
Like,
Wildflower and Smithy interview too.
dude, that's some of the best trolling right there. Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
know that was well, I guess Aiden started that trend, right? Like Aiden would do the S posting,
Yes,
or if
yeah.
you will, and then Smoke kind of got inspired by him, along with Randora, who had a channel for briefly. I don't know if people ever got to see that, but he made troll videos too. Randora, I remember
I've
those.
I've never seen Randor's videos before,
He like
but
deleted them after like a week, unfortunately. Well,
oh dang.
depends on how you look at it, but for archival purposes, unfortunately. Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't last very long, but
Well, like as far as NT goes though, like deleting content, that's something I feel like I'm probably never gonna do because like it is nice to go back once in a while and just look through my old videos and see like how much the game's changed since then.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
for sure.
definitely wish I didn't do that because yeah, it'd be nice to go back and look at like early 2019 racing. Like when I got like the walk and stuff, like that used to be on my channel. Oh man, yeah, that would have definitely been something I wish I could go back and visit now for sure.
Hmm.
That's definitely a mistake. But yeah, I mean that is true. Like nitro type changes so much over time that it is good to kind of have like the ability to go and look at videos from each year because you can kind of see like, oh yeah, like here's where V3 came out. No man, here's where they did this and that and all the crazy stuff, you know. Like because the game does change so much, even aesthetically, over the last few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's really like, as far as that goes on NT YouTube, there's really only one person who's like experienced all that, which is Penguin. Because Penguin still has all of his super old videos from like 2017 up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been around
So
the block, man. He's been around for a while. Yeah. That's true. You go and look back at his old videos, and that is definitely some more classic Nitro type right there. Yeah,
yeah,
it's crazy like how some of those videos ended up doing so well when they're like I don't know, like not what you would expect maybe. Like the richest cars, like it like the title doesn't even really like grammatically make sense and
I
it's like the
mean,
one of the
I
most viewed
know
Nitro type videos.
I think the reason why it's like why he got so many views on that, it was because it was something new. And like remember guys, NT YouTube was not a thing back then. So if I were a
that's
little
true.
kid and
Like,
I saw the richest cars on Nitro type, I'd be like, "Ooh, what's that?"
Nitro cars. I
yeah,
Nitro
mean,
but
cars.
if
that's
I
the thing.
saw that,
You
like
gotta
I don't
think
know,
most of the content back then when Penguin made that video was all like nitro type hacks and infinite money glitch, and it was just like random people inspecting stuff, and that stuff
yeah.
got like tons of views.
The
So you
inspect
can really
element, oh
only
my
yeah.
God.
Bruh.
The inspect element stuff is the best. It's like how to hack nitro type.
How
And
to
then they
get
just
rich.
inspect the race result.
How to
And
get
some of them would even say like no inspect because like they knew so many people use that trick. They would say no, this is
Yeah,
not inspect. Those videos are really good if you want to talk about archival purposes because I remember finding like glimpses of like the old like speed leaderboards and stuff and like different things through those videos where they'd be like screen recording, and then it's just like OG, it's like super OG Nitro type, and then you see someone like Philly's
Yes,
Magic on
yes.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, those are definitely good for that. For
Yeah.
Yeah,
just kind of.
actually, speaking of OGNC, do you guys know who Samsher is?
I don't think so,
Nope,
to be honest with
not
you.
at all.
Okay, well, hold up. So anyway, Samsher is like some super old racer from way back when, I think like 2013, and he used to be pretty active in the community, but basically he has a YouTube channel of his own. I'll try to find it. And one of the videos that he recorded was Shoe's 100K race.
What?
Yep,
Yeah, that's
Nice.
just out there.
yep. Hold
Dang.
on, let me try and find it. No,
Yeah.
it's crazy, and you can see, like, you can literally see how NT was back then.
Dang. Wow. Yeah, I mean that must have been they must have been going crazy. The first ever 100K race. I mean, I know Kerry would have I think had it already technically, but like yeah, on one account.
I mean, the first 100K race, that's just like historic for Nitro Type in general.
Yeah, that's beyond. I mean, that's just like on a whole new level. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
There's
all
one
right,
day.
here. I'll send it in chat. He's got some other stuff too. Like he has videos from 7 years ago that are just like Nitro type gameplay videos.
Yeah,
But
I'll
Dang.
have
yep,
that.
there you go.
Yeah, I'll have that link linked in the pinned comment along with your channel as well.
Yeah, for sure. Um. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. He was really just a true OG to the Nitro type video scene, I suppose.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he even got like the lac hand 6 years ago himself. Wow.
Yeah, I can't imagine like back then seeing someone with Lakin and
Back
then thinking like
then,
now that
back then, Lakin was like a rare sight. Now it's just very common.
yeah, I know like even now literally I think like it has to be like almost every week or every other week there's someone new that's getting 100K. Like I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure there's over 70 people now with over 100K, which is just crazy.
Yeah, that is. I mean, because literally, like 2.5 years ago, like when I got 100K, it was still pretty rare to see somebody get that car. I remember, and now it's like, yeah, literally, so many people. I mean, because like my account has 174K, and there's like 26 or something people that have passed me now.
Yeah,
So there's that
and
many
like
people that have
and then you
done.
think too, literally like not even 2 years ago, Tenons, you were in the top 10.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I think
Kind
that
of.
was technically, yeah. I think there was one point where I actually was like, like before that, I would have legitimately been in the top 10, like, right after I had done all my grinding and stuff. But regardless of that, yeah, exactly. Like just from not racing for a couple of years, more than double the amount of people have that many races or more than used to. Even though Nitro Tape's been around for well more than, double that amount of time of the last 2 years. So. Yeah, that is pretty insane to see. I mean, the short races obviously contributed a lot, but just also like the amount of botting and just everything else going on, just being unchecked, and it's
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
it's just going off the deep end. I feel like when it comes to competitive nitro type. Yeah, imagine someone like that Samsure guy looking back on nitro type now.
yeah, that
Just
would it would be a pretty interesting sight,
Seeing yes, him having Lakin 6 years ago and then seeing Wildflower at 700K.
dude.
yeah, that would be insane.
Yeah,
But
man.
imagine like and just seeing the fact that like they don't ban cheaters anymore and like they just forgot about the competitive community and everything else because back when he was playing like the players like him were being embraced to an extent. So I mean it's just funny to think about like if someone like
I
that
know.
came and looked back now, what would they
Yeah,
think
and
about Nitro
especially
Type?
like shoes too. Like shoes got like literally praised in the NT news. I mean, every time she got a new race milestone, they would make a news post for her.
Oh
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
exactly.
yeah. I remember seeing
Wildflower, she
some
got
posts.
250K. Yeah, when Wildflower got 250K, they never did anything for her besides make a car, of course, but like no news post.
Yeah, God forbid. Yeah, no. Well, like I don't know. I mean, if nothing else, when someone has the most races on your entire game, like you would think you would at least like do a little something. Like if I made a game and someone was the best player of it or something, like I would at least recognize them a little bit. But you know, I guess that's just the. I guess like Wildflower has to know kind of what to expect at this point. Yeah, I mean, I remember her complaining because they wouldn't make a car for. I'm trying to remember what like milestone it was, but like I think when she got like 400,000 or something. And she was saying how like they were like saying she had to wait all the way till she got to 500,000 just to get another car. She was not too happy about
Oh,
that
dang,
either.
that sucks.
Yeah. 'Cause, yeah, that's what like she was kind of like, well, there's only 100K between the 150K and 250K car, and then now there's another 250K to go just to get another car in the game. Like, yeah, I just I wouldn't have made it to 500K. I think at that point I would just be done at the
Yeah,
250K mark.
like I guess to be fair, like I'm probably still gonna be playing the game of like even after I get Wildflower just for like season achievements and stuff, and if I still decide to continue Nitro type YouTube, but me at 500K, yeah, don't think
Yeah.
that's gonna happen.
I mean, hopefully, like the next big milestone Wildflower hits, she gets a good looking King of the Race car. Not s-
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
not saying that the Wildflower and the Wild 500 look bad. I'm just, it better be at least worth it. Like I think some of the King of the Race cars, I don't remember the name of it. I think it's the one that comes before the Wildflower. I personally don't like how it looks.
oh,
You
that's
know
the
what?
200K car.
Yeah.
People don't like that. Clara out of them all. Or yeah, like a lot of people don't like that car. What I've seen.
Yeah, and actually, you know what's interesting about the Wildflower, which I never really thought about until recently, but their default paint jobs are red, which is something I never understood because like Wildflower has all their cars painted pink. So wouldn't it
Yeah,
just make sense if they painted her own cars like they made the default paint job pink?
they couldn't even do that much work. They were like, too much effort to
Yeah,
investigate.
they just make it like the basic red because most of the King of the Race cars are actually red. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, I
but
guess they're just like,
well.
they're like, yeah, she'll figure it out.
Yeah, I guess though in a way she benefited because both of her, actually all of her King of the Race cars have rare paint jobs now, so that's something
Really?
she got from it.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
I believe so.
Really?
Yeah, I mean they should be because she doesn't unpaint her cars. She's always kept them pink. So
Wait,
Yeah.
so you can't paint the Wildflower pink anymore?
well you can, but you know how like they got rid of some paint jobs because there used to be
Oh, I
way
know what you
more
mean. Yeah, I know
before
what
the
you mean.
customizer came out. Yeah,
Yeah,
she has like all the rare paint jobs that you can't get anymore.
that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, there you go. Other thing that she can flex out of the 10,000 things that she got going on with her account. But yeah, I
Profile
mean, just
views.
yeah, just that is another thing that's crazy to me. Talking about sticking with the game for that long, just how somebody can keep on playing, like even at all. Because I mean, eventually, I don't know. I guess I guess she's motivated by different things. Because for me, it was always like, oh, I want to like. First, it was like I want to get ranked high in the season, and then I want to do this and that. I want to win a season. Like it was always about the leaderboards, and when those were gone, it was like, well, I don't care at all about this game anymore. Like I'll complete the seasons and try to get the new cars, and that's about it. I really don't
Yep.
give a crap about anything else. For me, all the motivation was derived from like the community side of things and seeing like your account up there in first place and actually the reaction you would get when you were doing, like 1,000 races a day and everything. Like that was kind of what pushed me, I guess. So after that, it was kind of like there's nothing left to really care about. I had done what I wanted. It's just crazy that she can just keep on playing the game and keep coming back to it, even after times where
Yeah.
it seems like,
And the other thing that's crazy about Wildflower is like she's never really been involved within the community. And at least for me, this kind of like what you just said, I could never imagine myself sticking with this game in like the grinding standpoint if I wasn't in the community. Like as far as being
yeah.
on Discord goes, I could never see myself playing this game if I wasn't in the Discord community.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, I would literally like rely on just talking to people on Discord all day when I'd be grinding because they'd be so boring otherwise. Yeah. And also like getting to see like people freaking out and everything like that, like just the reaction you would get and getting to like, or like, helping a certain team, like just whatever it was, just that kind of like reputation was big, yeah, a big part of it for me. I don't think I could have just sat outside of the community and grinded at the very highest level. I mean, she used to be on like the shift her, right? Or how do you pronounce that?
The
Yeah, she must have been.
Wait, what do you mean
I
by
think I
shifter?
It's
like,
like team websites like SSH has a shifter. A lot of the OG teams have shifters, and they're like basically websites just made for the team.
yeah, I remember Dog had it too.
Okay, okay. I didn't know what that was. I wasn't
Um,
familiar with it.
yeah, I think that Wildflower must have been on there back in the day because I think people like used to talk to her and
Yeah,
stuff on that. Like she used to
and
communicate with shoes and stuff, I think.
she was also on the PR2W shifter for a while. I think she left it, but I
Hmm.
know they have their own shifter, and she was on it.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, no, that makes sense, for sure. Because I mean, at least it's something. Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking like, imagine winning 7 seasons and then just not even like seeing how people react to it, or like not even talking to the people that like you just do it just to do it. You're like, yeah.
I
Like I got
mean,
bored.
I mean if Wildflower had Discord, everyone would probably be DMing her, and she'd probably have to have her DMs off.
That's true. Like
Yeah, everyone would
it would
annoy
be
her.
hard for her. Like
Yeah.
you think like a lot of people too on Discord, like even though Discord's TOS is you have to be 13 years or older, like okay, let's be real.
Yeah.
Most of the people who play Nitro Type are not 13, so
Yeah, unfortunately, people do not care much for the rules on here. And then yeah. And I can imagine a lot of the people in that age range would be the ones to message
DM her,
Wildflower as
yeah.
well. Yeah, exactly.
Can I have
And
empty
Ask for
then
gold?
cash and friend request. Yeah,
yeah, so
exactly.
or they'd be telling her how they just beat her in a race and how they must be the best player in the world now.
Can we
That was
account
a
share?
classic.
Can we account share?
Dude,
I mean,
people
like
do that all
that
the
used to
time.
be me back in the day, for real. When I was way slower than I am now, and I used to race Wildflower, and I'd always freak out when I was racing her. It was like crazy.
Racing
Yeah.
Wildflower is common, like now. Well, for me, cause I'm
Yeah,
like
I know.
between her like speed range. Like speaking about Wildflower, I actually raced her like yesterday. No, like on Friday. Well, yeah, Friday, which would be yesterday. I raced her like 3 times in a row, and I was like, yeah.
I think the only time I ever raced her was in the friends race when she got like 400K back in 2019 or something because she asked me to be in there. I think it's the only time I've ever actually done a race with her, to be honest
That's
with you. Because
crazy.
like even when I started, I was probably in that speed. Like I think when I started typing, I averaged like in the 60s, but I just don't. I mean, maybe I saw her back in the day, in like 2018, but I don't really ever remember seeing her on the track a single time.
Yeah, honestly, like when I used to be in that speed zone back like early 2020, 2019, I only knew who she was simply because of the car she had and because she had emojis in her name. That was
Yeah.
like really it. Which is still like for most new players nowadays, that's still kind of the same thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of people probably are amazed by the emojis there. I remember like when I started playing, I'm back in early 2018. I remember racing against Muhammad, and I was so amazed by that account. And he had like 40K or something. I was like, I can't imagine how anyone could ever get to this level. I thought he was like just like the god of Nitro type or something when I saw that account. I think he was like using the manta ray, and I was like, oh my god, look at this account.
And then he got banned.
Yeah, then he became like the biggest permanently banned account and stuff for a long time. Yeah, yeah, I know because I made a whole video on that like a couple years later. I remember because for a while like they were banning other people that were like really big, but then just like unbanning them, and then he like was the biggest person that actually like stayed banned. It seemed like,
Yeah.
but
Well, I
his like
think
I mean,
the main reason for him getting a perm ban though, I think was because he was running like a whole botting system on his team.
Well,
Like
exactly.
in season 22 and season 23, Iran was botting heavily.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And I still don't think they even won a season, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure they
No, they
still only got
did.
like
I think they did.
which one did they win?
Season 22, I think.
'Cause I
Must
thought
have been that one.
'cause I think what happened was like season 23, that's when everyone thought that Talk was botting, right? Because like Iran
Yep,
people went to Talk or something, and then yeah.
exactly. Cause
Season
and then
23, man.
Penguin
That was
type
a
made a
joke.
video, and his video was like titled "The Botting Teams of Nitro Type," and
Oh,
it was literally a 12-minute video dedicated to Iran and Talk.
mm,
I feel
ouch.
like watching that now. I feel so bad for Cheeseburger. Imagine being like the
Yeah.
captain and you don't even realize that you have bots on your team, and
Yeah,
you just
man.
get called out by the biggest YouTuber.
The only YouTuber. Yeah, there
Yeah,
wasn't even like
that
anyone else
straight up
to
is.
like. Yeah, it wouldn't have been like nowadays. At least there'd be like me and a couple other people talking. It was literally just Penguin. It just exposing him.
Poor
They're
him,
just the
bro.
community. That's their
Yeah,
first insight of
and then
Cheeseburger.
exactly because it's like Penguin is also super active, or he was at least super active in the NT Discord. So he makes a video on that, and then you get bashed by the entire community.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's something I learned very quickly is that like when it comes to making a video about someone, you have to be extremely careful because even though like the channels, are really small compared to a viral YouTuber, like for the community, these channels are really genuinely some of the biggest out there. So the influence you get is actually like larger than you realize at first until you like literally see like somebody getting harassed in all their DMs because of a video you made and then you realize like oh crap like this is not what I wanted to happen to that person you know I just wanted to talk about the situation but yeah that's why I
Yeah,
always try to say too like don't harass someone over a kids typing game like don't be an idiot because you're not a real fan of mine if you harass people over this game like that's not the
Yeah,
point.
for real.
I mean, seriously, I've been targeted by it myself. Like, it really sucks when people make you their target. So it's like I
yeah,
would never want
and
that to happen to
especially
someone else.
too with like videos like that, when someone from the community will watch a video like that, they immediately think that, like, they're not gonna take a second and be like, oh, well, maybe this is just theory or whatever. They're gonna be like, no, this person is correct. That's what I'm believing. Like.
I mean,
Yeah, because
So
it's
it's
like
like,
it's the confirmation bias. Like they already want to believe, that person's cheating, and then you hear someone that is supposedly, so knowledgeable about the game. It's like, oh yeah, well then they're definitely cheating. Because if you're someone that's like on another team of that person or someone that's competing against that person, like of course you want to believe that they're cheating. That it helps your cause, right? It helps your narrative. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's easier to just run with an assumption than to actually look into something further when it doesn't benefit you to look into it further. Right.
yeah. I mean, like, to be fair, that was kind of me in the Bluer situation. Like, when he got banned, literally, the instant he got banned, as soon as I found out about it, we started, like, going in the SSH server and asking Volatile when he was going to get kicked and stuff like that. Because I was so convinced that he was botting. But still don't know.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, I always thought that he was botting. Like even, months ago, I was kind of like, isn't this guy just a big bot and the whole community knows it? Like to me, I didn't really understand how there was even like an argument for the other side. And then, I mean, I talked to Volatile and stuff, and I made the follow-up video and everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't really know what the truth is at this point because it's not like I can sit here and say, oh, I have this concrete proof that shows he was botting. Like I saw his race logs or something. Like it's Nitro Tech doesn't make it easy to tell anymore, like what's going on. So I really don't know, and I'm not gonna
That's
say
true.
something because I just don't
Like,
know what the truth
if
is.
they still showed the stats, then it would probably make more sense because you could see, like, his last 24-hour stats and
Yeah.
see what his speed was and his accuracy and how that compares to his season and stuff like that.
When they used to let you see actual racer charts, so you know how nice that was to be able to see like
Yeah,
how
yeah.
ridiculous it would look.
Gosh,
Because
yeah, it
someone would
was.
be botting, and then you would see like, oh wow, these spikes are like 40 words per minute above their average, huh? Maybe something's wrong here. Yeah, exactly. Like you used to be able to tell. I remember when like even I remember Wildflower used to get really suspicious races on her chart back in the day. We would look and there like a random like 100 words per minute race with 100% accuracy would pop on there sometimes, and we used to think that someone like Volatile must be racing for her at times or something.
Oh, jeez.
Because like it just was really suspicious. I don't know. I mean, when it comes to Wildflower, I feel like there's been a lot of people that have raced on that account personally. That's kind of
Yeah,
my thoughts. I
yeah.
don't think it's just one real person at all. I think it's like very much a facade based on everything I've seen and how weird and shrouded in mystery everything tries to be over there. It just seems very off to me, but I have no idea. So obviously, don't take that as me saying I know anything because obviously I don't. I'm just talking at my
Well,
butt like I'd like to do.
I
I feel
mean,
like okay,
I was
there
gonna.
are like no, you go, you go.
Okay, okay, because I was gonna say like 'cause sometimes when I'm racing Wildflower, she disqualifies a lot, which is weird. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if that's any. Mm. What were you gonna say, Kraze?
Um, no, so as far as her like speed goes, apparently Cam told me this a while back, but apparently she can average like her normal speed is like 80s and 90s, supposedly. I don't know how true that is, but
But then
coming from Cam,
Wildflower says that she doesn't like she gets annoyed when people say that she sandbags, and there was a thing where like she even had because I think she even emailed me saying that her normal speed was like 30 to 50 words per minute or something, and that she gets tired of how people say that she sandbags or something like that. I swear like that was a big thing where like she gets annoyed when people try to say that she's just sandbagging. It's like I mean I'm sure you know that JRC set the 120 words per minute high speed on her account.
yeah, yeah, I
It
know.
was originally his account, all that
Cam
stuff.
also told me that JRC is Wildflower's brother.
That is apparently also the case, yeah. Because JRC came back to the community and hosted like a speed tournament or something. I remember, and that's when like I first got to talk to him, and that kind of inspired me to do like the Nitro type live and all that stuff. Was because he was the
Hmm.
first one like originally doing that, and I remember he was like kind of talking about that stuff. And I'm pretty sure that was something else that was mentioned was that apparently like, that was actually her brother, which is really weird to me. And then I wonder where Moises factors into that too. You
Yeah,
know?
actually, speaking about that, both Moises and Type Me, because like you gotta think they all started around the same time. They all of them started within like, well, I don't actually know how like what the difference is, but they all started in 2016.
They all have the same way of racing, like the really low speed, and
Yep,
then like the
and
yeah,
and also way back when, um, so I have like a screenshot saved of Type Me Fantastic in season 7 when she had her own team, and it was called like Wildest Fantastics or something.
yeah, the
I don't know the
WFS.
yeah, all three of them were on the same team. And that's when
Really.
all three of them were like super active, and that's when
Interesting.
Wildflower was winning seasons, competing against Smithy, and both Type Me and Moises were, at that top 3, top 5 level themselves.
Something
So
else, like I've heard is I don't know if you guys have heard anything, but I've heard apparently before that Wildflower's name is actually Lynn. I don't know if you guys have heard that. And then
Lynn?
someone was saying that her username was a combination of her own name and Moises's, like the Moylan thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's any like validity, but I swear somebody
really,
like a couple people have said before that was her name, but I don't know how much validity there is to that.
I mean, it could be a possibility.
I
yeah.
don't know. I have
Well,
no
I
idea.
mean, like Moises's username, his username is like Chris Carm, so maybe that has something to do with it.
Mm. Yeah, that is a good point. His username is a lot different than he actually goes by. Yeah, I
Yep.
forgot about that.
Out of the three of them, Type Me is the only one because her username is just Type Me Fantastic. So
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I asked one time what was Type Me's username,
username,
and people were like clowning me. I was like, bro, I didn't know that it was just that.
that's what
Yeah,
happens
pretty.
to me like a lot. I get asked like, "What's my username?" If like someone wants to see my account, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, "It's my name, like it's my display name," and they're like, "Oh my
Oh,
bad."
if they know what your display name is, can't they just click on? Or you mean like?
Well, like on Discord, when someone wants to see my account and they ask me for like my username, I don't even have to say my username. I'm just say my display name is my username. because I just have my default name. So
I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I got
I
you.
know why people ask because I know like a lot of people changed their name in the Discord, the Nightcap
yeah,
Discord.
that's
Yeah.
true. Well, I mean, like my name, like I have Kraze on Discord and I have Kraze who Kraze on Nitro type, which I'm still super annoyed that NT hasn't changed this yet, or if they're ever going to change it, because I can't even have Kraze as my name, because it's a 6 letter. You have to have a
Limit.
minimum of 6 letters. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I can't even do Kraze. And then like recently too, they made an update where they got rid of dashes and periods, so I can't even do like Kraze in the period now, or like dash
Yeah, they
craze
got
dash.
they got rid of more stuff. Like I can't use the exclamation point in the TBZ name anymore because I
Yeah.
had to delete content with the exclamation point, and then it was like, oh, you can't use that. Like this, you can't use. It's like you can only or what is it? Like team names can only contain numbers, letters, and then and it like shows you the symbols or whatever that you're allowed to have. And so I guess they like removed a bunch of stuff that you're allowed to use in names, which I'm like, what's the point of that? Like really, what is that like doing for the game? Oh yeah, let's just ignore the problems and make the tiniest changes possible so that we can just have something to put in the logbook this month, guys. Come on now.
Yeah.
You're
And
just gonna take
speaking
away
about
stuff.
that, so I don't know this, but do you know like the reason why they made it so that you can't have like emojis or special characters in your username or your display name?
I've never heard, I don't think like a
Yeah.
specific reason
Me
given
neither.
before. I've never seen like anything because it's not like you could do like it's not like on YouTube where like maybe you could put like a fake verified mark next to your name. Like there's no like verification on Nitro Type or anything that emojis would affect. So I don't know if it's just like to keep like every name like more uniform with each other so that you couldn't like I don't really know to be honest with you.
I
I don't
would.
know if maybe people were sneaking inappropriate emojis or like getting weird text in there through the use
Yeah.
of emo like I don't really know what would
I.
cause that.
I mean, yeah. That's
Well, yeah,
probably
that's
why.
that's the other thing too. Like I know, well, I'm sure there were some people that would troll and have like use special characters to get like curse words in there and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was
But
wondering about. Dude, they patched the ability to change the font of your team message of the day and have it not be marked as inappropriate anymore. They got rid of that. That was like the
they
worst thing
have
ever.
they have so much stuff in that like marked. It is so annoying.
The team
Yeah,
filter is aggressive.
it's
Yes, and it is. It even says that too. Like
yeah,
it'll say like sorry for our aggressive whatever like our harsh conditions, but this word and it doesn't even tell you. That's the most annoying thing.
that's the
Like
problem is that
it
it
won't
literally
say
tells
like
you
what word. Yeah,
it'll tell you in a display name, but it won't tell you for the team message of the day. So you have to rewrite the
yeah,
entire thing.
yeah. You gotta go back
And
and like figure out what's the problem.
And then like sometimes you can't find it. Like there's been times where like I just had to rewrite the entire thing because I'm like I don't know. Like I do not know what is wrong with
It's
this.
really annoying, man. It's really annoying.
It's
Yep,
just like unbearable. I'm like guys, like this is like something that could be fixed so easily if you just told us what word needed to be changed.
I know, but I
It's
mean,
really
like they really have a stupid system for that because when I was officer on SSH and I used to do comps, like I didn't even realize this, but the word competition is
tit. It
against
has
Yeah,
tit.
yeah.
You have to do comp. I always put his team
yeah
comp.
comp or contest, yeah, because
Yeah.
that's what a
Dude,
volatile and like Winnie do. They always say contest.
oh, I always just say comp, which people probably don't know what that is. But I remember, like, even on SYN back in 2019, I tried to use the word accumulate, and I could not figure out for the life of me because I was on a long session, like, what was wrong with it. And PJ was like, dude, it has the word come in there. I was like, he was like, Pandora, you should have noticed that. He was like, what's your excuse, bro? You're rested now. I was like, because I was like, dude, I have no idea, like, what is wrong with this? I was sending it to, like, the whole, like, server. I'm like, guys, like, what is wrong with this blitz? Like, what did I do?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's what
was,
I had to do because like when I that was like my first time really like managing a top team, being officer on SSH. So
yeah.
whenever I had that problem for the MOTD, I'd have to message in the officer chat and be like, "Someone please help me! Like, I do
Isn't,
not know what I did wrong."
isn't that a little stressful too, like hosting your first blitz? 'Cause I remember that when they were like, "Oh yeah, like you can just like host a comp," and I was like, "Bro, like I don't like know
Yeah. Well,
like how to track it or anything."
I don't know how it is for other teams, but I know on SSH, like, there's a lot of work that goes into making comps. Um,
Yeah.
like the hardest thing for me, well, not the hardest, but the thing that took me the longest when I was setting up my very first comp on SSH was writing the shifter news post. Because Voltile has it like she has a special prefix for it, so it has to be written out in a certain way, and that just took me a long time to do, because there's like all these things that you have to add and change to make sure it's like perfect the way that it's supposed to be. So
Just the way that you talk or the actual coding?
no, it's like the coding, so you could get like the spacing of the characters correctly, so it's centered to the page, and if you're trying to
Oh.
change the color, like the colors of some fonts
So
for the
you have to write the
titles
actual
and stuff.
CSS code, like you're actually editing CSS
Yeah,
in
I think
HTML.
so. I don't really know how it works exactly, but
You're like actually editing the web page because yeah, you're talking about you're setting like font like size and every or
yeah,
like you're setting the actual font color and all that stuff and like
yeah.
the
It's like
positioning.
basically on Nitro type, like writing out a news post, You gotta write it and then like make sure that everything's correct, and if you want
Right.
to change a font size or make this bold, you gotta go back and like manually do that. You can't just,
Yeah,
highlight it and
that makes
use
sense because
Control V
shifters
or whatever.
like your own website, so you have to actually like build the HTML and CSS for the page, right? No, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm sure that was a little bit a little bit intimidating, like just coming into it and that's your first experience running a team competition for them, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Does shifter cost money?
Not sure about that.
Yeah,
I
I have no
not
idea. I've
Yeah,
never
cause
tried to host one.
I haven't touched it at all. When I had a team like 2 months ago, I used ADL's like comp thing to host my comps.
Man, that's to me that's already a red flag. If it's ADL's thing, I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yo, ADL, like he does some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man.
Nah, as far as darks, as far as shifter goes, like the only thing I know that it's used for Nitro type is team stuff.
Hopefully,
That's
Yeah.
basically it.
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. And before Discord in I believe 2015 for the Nitro Type Olympics in 2015, that's what they were using. They had their own shifter website set up for that before Discord was a thing.
I think I remember like beginning of 2020, like me, like I think I stumbled upon a Nitro Type Olympics website or something like that that someone in the community made. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
remember at all.
dude,
Well,
that in itself is crazy to think that like Nitro Type has been around longer than Discord.
substantially longer, yeah.
Yeah, dude,
I mean,
that's sick. That's
That
crazy,
is
dude. That's
insane.
crazy.
I know. Like it
yeah.
really puts it into perspective. Like Nitro Type has been around since 2011. Like
I mean, it's as old as like Minecraft, basically.
Yeah,
Games like that, yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
actually, yeah, you're right.
Nitro Type and
So
Yeah.
that's only
Minecraft
what,
are.
like a 2 year difference or something.
I mean, well, because Minecraft like was first being bug tested in 2010. Like it was released in alpha form in 2011, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty
The
sure it
alpha was
was.
Yeah,
released in 2011, so it was like around the same time, which is just crazy to think about. Like, yeah, Nitro Type being that old, over 10 years old and everything. And just, I mean, and that's like the amount of stories and stuff and the amount of history that's within this website that people, beyond our circle, like, will just never know. It's just crazy to think about. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like at least some of them you would think like more, it would at least be interesting to more people if it was presented in the right way. But like, people just don't really care. Even if someone makes a high quality video laying it
Yeah,
all out, like, nobody really cares to see that, to be honest with you. And it's just
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
You
It's kind of like, but I mean, like that's the way that Nitro Type content has gone. Like, I mean, YouTube especially. I feel like the stuff that gets the most views is something to do with some crazy new game updates or
season.
season leaks.
Or
Yeah,
hacks.
exactly.
Or hacks.
Yeah,
Even then, like there's just nothing on Nitro Type that gets that many views compared to like how big of a player base the game has. When you really start to think like it like does not carry over to YouTube at all.
I
You know what I
mean,
mean? A game that has like
I
hundreds of
just
thousands of active monthly users.
I just searched up
yeah.
Nitrotype, and the first thing that comes up is the Nitrotype 190 words per minute words per minute hand cam by no, this is John, and the second thing is literally using an auto typer on Nitrotype until I get banned by Jinfio with
Yeah.
Oh well,
62
yeah.
views.
Ginfio. I mean, Ginfio's been around for some time too, as far as
Jim,
YouTube goes.
yeah, Jinfio doesn't care. He just bots. But honestly, But honestly, Jinfield does give back to the community. He's really nice. Jinfield's really nice.
Dang, that video got 60K views. They're using an auto typer to like get banned. Yeah, that kind of
Yeah,
tells you right there. Like that's one of the
yeah,
issues with
it
Nitro
is.
Type. Dang, Nitro Type Live Finals comes up of John versus Josh. Yeah, that was pretty good.
But I mean,
And,
honestly, like Nitro type content for me, tendons. Like seriously, bro. If you make documentaries again, I will be the happiest person ever. Like
Same.
I literally, I used to listen back like way back in 2020. Um, I used to listen to that stuff all the time. Like when I was racing, it's just so nice to have in the background and listen to it.
Good stuff. Good
mm,
stuff.
yeah, I'll have to try to make something.
Like
It's
I'm
just
always, yeah, and I don't
just
know. Like
hard to
I
do,
know
but
a lot of people nowadays like Nitro type content lengthwise, it's not really that long. But for me, I always try to find like when I'm racing and I'm like what should I play while I'm racing? I'm always trying to look for like nitro type something that I could just listen to while I race for a little bit.
yeah,
Honestly,
I hope that's what the podcast can be for people. Just
yeah. I
kind of
mean,
to say,
that's
say real quick,
in my
like,
opinion. That's like the main purpose I wanted to. That's why I don't have like Nitro type gameplay in the background. It's just straight up image of the thumbnail a little bit
Yeah,
edited
yeah, I
out.
like that. I like that because honestly, like once this video gets posted, I'm probably gonna watch it myself and just go back and listen to it. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. There's not too much like long form content on Nitro Type that's actually decently high quality. So I get what you're saying for sure. I got that a lot too. Like a lot of people would be like, "Yo, I like used to listen to your documentaries when I'd be grinding," and that playlist had like way more views than any of my other playlists. I remember when I'm looking at it, like the Nitro Type documentaries playlist after a couple months had like gotten like the videos like 500 or 600 more views just from like in the playlist itself compared to the other ones that got like 50 views. So a lot of people probably clicked on that playlist just to listen to those while they were grinding or something. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yep,
I'll have to. Yeah, I'll definitely have to try to remake some documentaries now. It's just, I mean, it's just a big endeavor. So I'm gonna have to actually space it out over a week instead of doing it in like a day or two, like I used to do,
yeah.
because that would be a
Well, yeah,
grind.
I get that. Like making content like that is way harder. It's
Yeah.
much more time spent. Because I
Yeah.
remember one of your old videos, I don't remember which one it was, but one of the documentaries you said that it was like you worked on it for like 3 days or something and you had to write a script for it and like recording it took a couple hours or something and you had to go back and edit it and then make a thumbnail. So it's like all
Yeah.
that work.
It's generally
So
like
like
Yeah.
very time consuming and stuff like that when you work on like documentaries of any kind.
Yeah, well, the Nitro type ones, I mean, those were pretty tough to do, but even like, later on, like when I did the monkey type documentary and stuff, just because I would use like 50 or 60 different clips in there and everything, like I mean, those literally did take probably like 20 hours to make each of those because it would be like for the course of like, I remember the one in 2 days, I did like two 10-hour shifts on it basically to get it done. But yeah, like that's the reason why sometimes it's hard to come back to the documentary content because it's like, okay, I'm gonna put in, this many hours into one video. Is anyone gonna watch it? Is it even gonna get as many views as a 2 second doodle jump short that takes me like literally like no time at all to make? And that's where it's like it's sometimes tough, which I guess that's my own problem. Like it's me wanting to like get the views from the content instead of just being motivated purely by the passion. But it's just tough at times when you know you work full time and you got a lot going on and you have other content opportunities. Like it just can be tough to sit down and make a documentary that you know might only get 500 views when it took you 10 hours to make it. But if people really want them, I mean, obviously I want to be able to create videos that you guys enjoy. So maybe if you made it this far, let me know if you guys want to see some more documentaries as well. And I'll try to bring those back for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean,
Appreciate the fact that you guys enjoyed them and everything.
I
That
mean,
it
I
was something.
haven't. I mean, like for your documentaries, I love your documentaries. Even though I've only seen like five of them. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was gonna say about the documentaries.
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah. And I appreciate that, honestly, man. Really, it does mean a lot. This to know that there's people out there who like. I mean, that's the kind of thing that definitely is a good motivation, even if they're not getting a ton of views. Like the people who do see them, if they enjoy them, you know, I definitely think it's worth making them again. It's just, I mean, it can be fun at times, but like that one video I made about like how long can a race last on Nitro Type, like that was so much fun to make. You know, that's to me is the kind of content I really want to try to do more of in the future
That was
because
good.
that's the one
Yo,
thing I
I
think has
speaking of that
potential.
speaking about that video, we watched it when Darks did a live stream.
Oh yeah,
Did you
Dark,
watch
yeah,
the live
he asked
stream?
yeah, I
me,
reacted to it like 5 days ago, like live. Yeah, it was pretty good.
yeah, you reacted to it like an hour or two after I put it up. I think it was like pretty shortly after,
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
but
that
like
long.
it was like the same day, yeah. But like yeah, like that video, like for me was a lot of fun to actually make. And the final product I felt like was actually genuinely like interesting. Even for me to listen to, even having made the video, I'm like, whoa, like this was actually like pretty good, you know? And I feel like that's the kind of thing that could actually maybe have some potential to pick up in the algorithm over time. Because it makes Nitro Tape accessible to people who don't necessarily play it that much just because it's really easy to understand how the game limits the amount of time that you're supposed to spend racing and then how we can take advantage of different mechanics to abuse it and push it to the furthest, you know. Like it's not like anything like, oh, this, you know, wildflower grinded out the season. Like people are not going to understand that unless you explain 10 minutes of background, but these types of things
Yeah.
I feel like be good for like the you know the community as a whole because I always say like if I ever one day have the opportunity to grow a lot on YouTube like I'm gonna pull the community up with me anyone else who's out there you know working hard on their own content like I'm gonna bring them up with me you know as long as you're a decent person who's not you know making the community look bad because we
Yeah,
do unfortunately have a lot of racist people in the community. I'm just gonna say that blatantly, people that think it's funny to drop the hard R or something and that you know
unfortunately,
is really
yeah,
really
unfortunately.
unfortunate and just really sad to be honest with you how much people think that you know there's nothing to be considerate of in terms of the oppressive history of the usage of that word you know and everything they just I don't know what their issue is maybe they just are ignorant to it but regardless you know like the point I'm saying is I don't want to pull up people like that you know if I ever get the
Yeah.
chance because that's just going to make
Yeah,
our
I get
community
what
look
you're
like
saying.
crap
Yeah,
and also they don't deserve it. But then people, you know, like the majority of people who are just out there, you know, working really hard, especially someone like Sold, you know, who edits, you know, puts a lot of work into his videos for the views that he's
Yes.
getting,
Yo,
you know, like
speaking
people like
about Sold,
that.
like honestly, his YouTube grind, like him doing shorts and everything, I really like that stuff because that's like
Yeah.
definitely
yeah, man.
shorts is like a, I wouldn't say necessarily a big part of the algorithm, but I think
Oh,
it like
no,
it
they, I
can
mean,
definitely be
I mean,
affected by it. So
I mean,
making
sold.
yeah.
YouTube shorts, like
I mean, sold. As I was saying. Oh well, well, sold
Oh, geez, man.
actually, I actually made a tweet about it on Twitter. So I
Oh,
congratulated him on hitting 1K views on the Nitro Type 2021 rewind. So congrats to him.
yo, that video was sick. Yeah, I'm just gonna say straight up, like that was a great video to watch.
yeah. I mean,
that was
he pulls
crazy.
views. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually it was super cool too. Like even for me, because he put a couple of my videos in there, which I was really surprised about, because I wouldn't consider myself like that big of a Nitro type YouTuber, but I guess like I am. So that's cool to think like
I
that big
mean,
YouTubers recognize me.
I wasn't
I think
expecting.
he,
I wasn't expecting at all. I was just looking forward to watching it. I wasn't expecting to be included in as well, but I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he put like, because at first I was like, dang, I guess I don't get any clips in here, but I think he put like a bunch at the end that were like from my videos or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, he did. He did like he put a clip about like TBZ coming back like after the first time it kind of fell off and you guys lost top 10 for a while. He
Yeah.
put that video back and said like talking about how you talking about TBZ coming back and getting revived.
Oh, that was so funny when Penguin made that video looking at the leaderboards and like he was just gonna try to talk about Nitro type and TBZ just happened to be like first and he was like freaking out. He's like, "Wait, what the heck?" He just starts like freaking out because he was like, I don't know what's going on here, but for some reason
Yeah, yeah.
TBZ is back in first place." Like, because he remembered us being like disbanded and everything like a year before, so he he was just so
I mean like
confused.
no, but that's so true though cuz literally the last time before for 2021, like mid 2021 when you guys came back, before that, the last time anyone knew of TBZ was season 26. So,
Yeah. Besides like Smoke's little iteration of TBZ. Kind
yeah.
of related interest because he got TBZ to top three like before I brought it back in May.
Yeah.
He had it for a little while there, and then everyone was going to join Heartless's team regime, but then that didn't last, so everyone just came back to TBZ, and then all
Well,
of a sudden
yeah. No,
I
no,
was
I
blessed.
remember that cuz basically what happened was when Smoke had his team after it got top 3, a bunch of people from Smoke's TBZ went and joined Heartless's team because Heartless was an officer,
Yeah,
Smoke's team. So like basically, Heartless got a lot of players from that team. Like, and that's too when Cruiser was on Smoke's team and he joined right to Regime. And then as
yeah,
soon as Heartless joined TBZ, you guys got a bunch of players from Heartless. So it was like
yeah.
a chain basically of players.
That was exactly it. And then I also got to make videos on my own channel, so I was like, "Oh, TBZ is back," and that was like the first stuff I was posting on the channel. So those videos were actually getting some decent views because it was like I
Ah,
hadn't done anything on Nitro for a little while,
it
and
was
then all of a
insane.
sudden,
I know
Yeah,
I remember the title of the first video. Well, not the first video, but it was
TBZ lives
lives
on.
on. Yeah,
that's the
TVZ lives
classic.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
TVZ lives on. That I think that was the no, the first one was the first race on my main in 9 months. Thanks, Cuber, or something like that, because it
Oh
was like
yeah.
after I got my main account back. Maybe or maybe the first one was TVZ lives on because
No,
I
yeah,
got TVZ the day before I got my main account back. That's why it's on that random account. Like that wouldn't have been like that if I had my main. Instead, it's just on the Shapes account or
well,
whatever.
actually, so speaking about that, are you glad though? Like, would you rather have TBZ on your main, or do you like having it on your alt account?
Kind of tough to say because like it gives you more flexibility to have your main account free, but it's like at the same time it's not like I'm active anyway, so I'm not missing out on any opportunities. Um, so I mean, it would be nice to have everything together because then my main account would have 50,000 more views, so I would have 300K instead of 250K, which is a pretty big difference, when you're like talking about what like 20% more in terms of profile views. And then beyond that, like I would probably have verified YouTuber on my main account too. So it would be kind of nice to have everything together because maybe my account would be more valuable then. But at the same time, it's like it is what it is. Like, it kind of worked out this way. It's just what I'm used to now. So I can't really imagine it any other way. But it is nice at least, like even if someone like were to somehow get into one of the accounts, at least I would still have the other. So at least I'd still have something, I
That's
guess.
true.
Yeah.
All my eggs aren't in one basket, but though I can't imagine somebody getting into them because I set those up where, yeah, go ahead and try
Yeah.
it, you. I'm waiting, bro. But yeah, I mean, so overall, I guess I kind of wish everything was together, but at the same time, it's I don't really mind the fact that my main's on a different account, and at least then I could have potentially two different teams in the future. Like if I ever want to have like a chill version of TVZ and then have like the actual main team or something
Yeah.
like that.
Well, and
But
I can say this, like you having TBZ on an alt account, I think that inspired a lot of people because if you look like there are a few teams on the leaderboards where like the captain is just an alt account and like the actual captain of the team is might be on a different team or is like a top 50 racer or something on their own team. So you definitely like
Yeah,
inspired a bunch of people because I think like for a lot of people it's just like if they ever putting it on an alt is like they don't have to worry about disbanding or disappointing any players
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
because
That's what I
yeah,
like.
because that was something for me like a while ago, like way back in March, April, when I
Yeah,
had my own
because
idea of
yeah,
yeah,
yes, yeah, because like I want to. Sorry to interrupt you again. I keep doing this. I don't like interrupting people, but if I don't say this, I'm gonna forget it. It's like making an alt account with your team. It's probably a good idea because not everyone, like barely anyone, can get their captain transferred on Nitro Type.
Yeah, yeah. Well, exactly. Like I just think I'll just say real quick. Definitely, if something can inspire people to not disband on their members, then I'm all for it. You know, if something will allow people to keep more teams around,
yeah.
yeah, I think that's good to
That
see.
was like, yo, just thinking about Darks, what you said about like transferring teams. That's like when Universal Legend tried to transfer ownership of Age, and then
Oh
like
man.
2 weeks later they gave Pinky one PR2W, and he was like for real Nitro type, like
Yeah.
He was like, because they were told him like they're like it's currently impossible at this time to transfer a tag. Like they literally just like straight up lied to him because they didn't want to do it for his smaller team. I remember he always used to brag that they were like the fastest team with like, over 100,000 lifetime races, and I was like low key thinking like you don't get to make up your own categories and brag about being the best in them. Like nobody's ever talked about that before, so I mean, come on, bro.
that's
But
like me saying that SSH is the well, I mean, okay, well, I don't know where I'm going with this.
SSH actually is a lot of things, so they might be able to
Yeah,
live up to it.
that's true.
Do they? Man, it would just, I don't know. It would be like just making up your own category to compete in and then happening to be first in it because like you set up all of the qualifiers to be perfect for yourself, you know? Like be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
TBZ is the
that's like
most
me
viewed
saying
team made after May 2nd, 2021." Like, "Oh, really? You don't say."
yeah.
Like it's
No,
perfect for us.
that's like me saying SSH is the fastest team with over 7 million races. Wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder how that happened. I guess technically they're technically the fastest and the slowest with over 7 million races. So it's a it's a little bit of a paradox for you.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, like it was just funny
at
to
the
me.
moment we are the only team with over 7 mil, so
Yeah, that's gonna be a long moment. I have a feeling. I mean, it's not gonna be
yeah.
until Pure 2W catches that, unless
I
like
know,
Bulk or something goes
dude.
crazy.
I didn't even realize this until recently. But Tier 2W is actually getting really close to us in profile views, like team
Y-
page views.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually have a real chance of passing.
Yeah,
They
which
hit a
is
million like shortly after you guys did. It wasn't even that far off, crazily
and that
enough.
to think about that is like absolutely crazy because SSH has been around since 2014. Pure 2W is 2020. That's a six
SSH.
year difference, and they've already come up so quickly.
Just that 7 day leaderboard, man, it just makes team views like completely broken at this point because there's nobody like there's no attention being diverted to viewing players or teams that are first for other leaderboards. It's literally just whoever is on top on the 7 day leaderboard just gets ridiculous views now. Because like even
Yeah,
TVZ has like 350,000 views, even though we really didn't do that much if you really think about it compared to teams that have less views. It's the same type of thing. Like it's just being on that that 7 day leaderboard gets you so many views. It's just insane.
yeah. Well, okay, so here's something interesting for you tendons as far as TBZ goes. So, you guys, I know you guys were like in first for a while for the last 7 days, but do you think that TBZ, like back in season 25 and season 26, was more successful than it was in 2021, or do you think it's the other way around?
Um, yeah, it's honestly really tough to say just because I guess it depends on how you measure that success. Like if you think about, what I did with TBZ back then, I would say, okay, well, obviously this version's better. Like it got to, see the light of the day and it got to go through the full experience. But at the same time, when I really think about it, I mean, TBZ, went from being in season 25 like a rookie team to being able to win against SSH by a decent margin after, and yeah, they had lost season 21, but they were regaining a lot of momentum. And by season 24, they
Yeah,
dominated everybody again. So to be able to come up as a rookie team and take them down and then being like, 40 million points ahead of Dog in season
yeah,
26,
yeah,
like it was like we had become really good really fast, but unlike in 2021 where we became really good and then lost it once we lost first place, like that never really happened. Back then it seemed like the momentum kept getting better because I was so actively recruiting players every day, doing literally everything I could in that regard to try to like keep an actual core alive, that I would have to say that version of TBZ was by far better than this version. 'Cause I mean, like
and I know like too, you were still pretty active yourself back then as a racer, right?
Yeah.
season 26, yeah. I mean, I think when well, I remember when season 27 started, I think that's when I was like actually holding like top 5 for a while and actually in the top 3, but even in season 26, I was racing a good amount for TBZ because we were up against DTR, yeah. I remember
Yep.
that in the beginning of the season. I was definitely trying to race a good amount myself. And we had a lot of like the top racers, like pretty much everybody. And then, well, because what ended up happening was when DTR like ended up eventually like falling out, Aiden and a bunch of them joined TBZ. So it was like the two best teams merged into one. So that gave us like this superpower where, we
Unstoppable.
disbanded halfway through, and then Dog didn't pass us until the last day of the season. Like our disbanded point total, they didn't pass until the last day
Yeah.
of the season because we just
Well,
had
and
like
that's the
everybody.
thing too, like, bro, that's another thing, honestly. That season was kind of crazy as far as teams go, because the beginning of the season, like the first month of the season, it was everyone was immediately thinking, oh yeah, it's gonna be DTR second or first and TVZ most likely winning the season, right? And then season ends and Dog's in first. Like what? You
Yeah.
know, Dog was a team that wasn't like hadn't been around since then for like a year or so. Because like the last time that Dog was at a top level was like early 2019, I think. Before that,
Right. Yeah, it definitely had been a while, and then they kind of just
came
yeah, I mean
back.
they always seemed to be like an event season team before, and then I guess they kind of just became like a team that's active for a short time each year, and then kind of chills out. Because I haven't even seen them now for a while on the leaderboards. I feel like seeing them be
Yeah,
like
that's
relevant anymore,
that's
but
that's with all those OG teams. Like I mean, NTA like they're barely holding on top 50 now, and it's like crazy to think NTA was literally the number like the powerhouse team way back when, and
yeah,
they can't even hold on top 50 now, and
Yikes.
Dog and Dog and STPR, the other two teams from like way back when, aren't even in the top 100. So it's just
yeah.
crazy to see like how teams have evolved since then.
Yeah, it's a completely different landscape now, and there's no like because I know even if I didn't disband back then, the same outcome would have eventually happened where we have what we have today, where there's no team that's able to stay on top for 9 months straight or like do what SSH or NTA did back in the day because it's just the game doesn't even allow for it anymore with the way the
Yep.
7 day is. It's so heavily current momentum based. You can be like literally at 14, 15 million points in the last 7 days, and then all of a sudden in 2 days your team isn't able to race hard enough, and then you were first place for 2 months and it doesn't matter. Now you get passed because all of a sudden you're just outpaced for the last 7 days.
Yeah, that's actually
It's
kind of what happened to Nate recently. Like last like recently, I mean Nate's been going insane, right? They've been doing like over 10K last 24 hours. And then I think yesterday when I checked the team, they weren't like barely at 7,000.
Yeah, I mean they had their resurgence here. It seemed like in the new year they were going really crazy once, and then when the new season started, they were already first, and they were going even harder. But and kind of it seems like the same thing happened, yeah, where they started to slow down, and maybe they started to get like not comfortable, but it's just like once you get to first, what else do you have to fight for, right? You keep fighting to try to hold first place, but it's easier for another team that's hungry for first place to take it from you than it is for you to hold them off when you're already satisfied. So It just seems to happen to every team that's at that top level. And the problem is you can't accumulate anything. Like you can't be like, oh, we worked super hard for 3 months and we built up this massive season lead. Like it just doesn't matter because there is
Yeah,
no season.
no
There's
one.
nothing to build
Yeah,
up a lead.
no one even like pays attention to season leaderboards anymore. So it's really literally 7 days. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I'm sure most people have no idea that like TBZ won the last season. They just don't even they probably don't even realize like that there is like a way to see that, let alone who won it. Yeah. Yeah,
mm,
for sure. People definitely have had their attention kind of shifted over to whoever's in the game, which is
yeah,
just that 7 day
like
leaderboard now.
well, yeah. And the other thing too is like you never see teams anymore think like going for like when someone says first, like back, you know, a year ago when someone said they were going for first, it was like, oh, so you're gonna try and win the season, right? Like you're gonna try and win a 2 3 month season. Now it's like, oh, you gotta get first and be first for a day on last 7 days, like
A day, yeah. And then just fade back into the abyss for a few months.
Yep. Well, I mean that's
Basically,
the
yeah.
other thing too. Like season, like as far as like season and 7 days goes, climbing, getting high on the season leaderboards is probably harder, but staying on top on season leaderboards is much easier because you could get that good lead and then you could like take it chill, you know,
Yeah,
and
that's
like not really
exactly
have
it.
to worry about other people passing you. 7 days though, it might be easier to get up quicker because the competition isn't as intense, but then maintaining that, that's when it gets challenging.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's just it. And then, right, once you've worked really hard, it doesn't really matter. Like if you have one day off, then it's like, oh, now you're getting passed. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that'll always be like,
exactly.
people always be like, oh, I only did 300 races today, and then I got passed. Like by four people in the last 7 days. Yeah, I know. It's just insane to me. There is no like ability to build up a lead or kind of even like ever rest. It's like constantly just on the grind once you're on there. And I don't even know like if I could have competed at the very highest level in this day and age, just because like the amount of botters they allow on now. I mean, there's times where like the person in first on the 7 day will have like an impossibly high amount of points
Yeah.
for human, I feel like, at
Yeah.
this point.
No, there literally have been like people recently who um on last 7 days with top three badges and they're averaging 2K plus a day. And it's like, bro, like what?
Yeah,
That's
I
not
couldn't
even
have.
possible. Like
Yeah, I mean,
a human cannot do over 2,000 a day. It's like no, it's
no, I mean,
crazy.
I remember because I would do 24-hour blitzes back in the day, and I do remember one time getting like 1,460 in one day in long races. So I think that's like maybe 2,100 in one day now. But like that was literally like my hand like basically broke off my body doing that for a single day, and
Yeah.
that was with my
But
speed being slower. Like these people have like a 130 average with perfect accuracy.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That
And
drives
that's
me
like
insane.
that's not even the only thing. Like for you tendons doing that, like that makes sense though, because you did that for a day, right? Like blitzing for a day straight, and then you
Yeah.
see like these people who do like 2,000 Monday, then they do 2,100 Tuesday, and then they do like 1,900 on Wednesday, and it's like, okay, how are you able to average 2,000 races a day for 3 days straight? That's no sleep for 3 days. Like
Oh, and that's just it. Like when I did those long sessions, my efficiency was nothing like that. When I did my
exactly.
two longest
you
sessions,
you
there
drop,
was
yeah.
literally a point when I remember seeing like 950 races in the last 24 hours when I was doing a session, which was like, terrible efficiency. But yeah, it was because I was falling asleep trying to like average 60 words per minute, trying to keep
Yeah,
my
and
body awake
you gotta take breaks
pre-workout. Yeah.
too, and it's like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. And you can't maintain that efficiency for multiple. Like when I did that day, that 1460 day, like that was everything like I maybe lost like 10 or 15 minutes out of the whole day between like using the bathroom and other things. Like literally I lost almost 0 minutes the entire day to do that. Yeah, there's no way that somebody would just casually maintain that and not even have any drop in their speed or accuracy either. Yeah, like it's so egregious. I can't imagine what the guys like. I can't imagine that people at Nitro Tape don't realize what's going on. They're just like, well, if we let the game, get this ridiculous, nobody's going to want to compete legitimately, and then we can kind of forget about this whole competitive scene, not have any
Yeah.
pushback when we
That's
get rid of
yeah,
it entirely.
that's so facts.
Uh,
Like I mean, to be fair, like Nitro type, like they don't even like they probably don't really realize it. That's the other thing. Like you think they pay attention to that stuff? It's like no,
It's
Well,
sad.
you mean like just botting
no,
it on there?
like checking like last 7 days and stuff and seeing like who are the top 3 racers and who are the top 10 racers and stuff like that. Like I doubt
Uh,
they have admins checking the spreadsheet and stuff. Like and
yeah,
seeing
no,
who
I'm
are the
sure.
top racers.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like if you're gonna make a game and then claim something's cheating on your game, like you should at least moderate it, Because it's like otherwise, then is botting just not cheating? Then I, I don't know. It's just like they set the rules, but then they don't even follow them. Is what I feel like. So it's not like we're asking them to like do something that they're not already claiming they would have done in the first place, which is banning people who cheat.
Exactly.
But I know they don't pay much attention to it. It's just I wish Nicer Type wouldn't forget their roots. Like you look back at the old like retrospectives and stuff, like when they first switched from FTW over to NT, back when they were like based purely on this game and it was the competitive scene that was driving more of their traffic than anything else. Like I just wish that they wouldn't forget about that because like I know if like somehow by some miracle my channel ever did get big, like I wouldn't just forget about you guys, for example, or like
Yeah.
forget about the podcast or forget about the things that supported me early on. Like they happened to make it big, and I feel like that they just want to like almost not even forget, but like try to like erase the memory of the competitive scene being like actually important. And I'm like, it's just not right.
Erase the
These people
Yeah.
past.
supported the game.
Erase the
Yeah,
Um,
past.
and then they just like, or it's like they're like, okay, so this helped us, like, Nitro type leaderboards helped us become a big game. Now let's move on from that. Like, okay, we don't like Nitro type
feels like
leaderboards did what we wanted it to do, so now we can move on.
in a way I just feel almost like I was used in the sense of like I was allowed to, or I was meant to believe that these would be around forever and that these were something that were important to the game. And I committed, and I made the choice to commit my time. I get that. But then you just take away all that history and it's like, well,
Yeah,
dang. Like, so
and
I just did that to what? To make your website a little bit bigger along with everyone
yeah,
else that you let grind. And then you just take away that history. Like, I mean,
and that's
I
the
have,
other thing too. Like, I feel like them removing the leaderboards, like a lot of people, I know a lot of people wanted it, but I don't think when people wanted the leaderboards to be removed, they wanted like old seasons to be removed. Because I don't know about you guys, but at least for me, I used to check that stuff all the time. Just
Yeah.
used to be so nice, like just logging onto NT and being like, like let's see who placed 20th in season 7 or something, like something totally random, and just seeing
and
like all the old players, like how they used to be, comparing it to recent seasons.
I mean,
But yeah, that's exactly what you're
I
saying
mean,
about it, all that stuff.
I don't think it's true. It's like actually gone. I mean, I think they must have it saved like in like backup somewhere. But if they actually like completely wiped it, then that's just sad and disappointing.
well, even
Yeah,
if, I mean, I don't know if maybe
we still
it's,
have
you
like
do have
Brematorgs.
Bremiatorix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
another thing too is a Dragon Typer. When when they announced that that stuff was getting removed, he actually recorded videos of him going through all the leaderboards, like teams and players, and they
Yeah, I
made like
remember
two 30
that.
minute videos of just him searching through all the players,
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I
which
mean, it's
is
nice.
something that Bremy doesn't even have, because Bremy's spreadsheet for teams only shows top 10. He doesn't have like top 100 or anything, so
Oh, I got you. Yeah, because he just archived the actual data, right? He didn't like make those videos like Dragon did.
yeah.
But I didn't realize that's what Dragon. I remember him having something posted on his channel about archiving them, but like I didn't realize that's what he did. He just looked through each one. And at least, yeah, that information is still out there if you're willing to look for it. But it's just like it is just to me, like again, like it's just like I did all that the idea that at least it would be like part of Nitro type history, like this like the 6 million point total, like all those crazy things. just to like have them completely wiped out of the game's history. It's like, all right, well, I guess that's where I stand now, I guess, with that as far as Nitro type goes. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, obviously, I knew it was a mistake to grind that hard, regardless. It wasn't like yeah, the season leaderboards would have changed anything, but it's just even other people, especially like well before like when I started playing, I feel like those people in particular just got really like led to believe that this was going to be a community driven based game, and then that was just kind of abandoned down the road. And certain things that were also promised, like never bringing back the original Shadow Xmas tree, obviously they brought it back twice, and they didn't care about the fact that those
Hopefully,
original
Wait, they
players
brought
were
it back
around to earn it.
twice?
Brought it back in 2019, and they brought it back recently to the item shop, right?
no, no,
Something.
no, that
No,
no,
no, no.
that'd be horrible
Okay, okay, hold on.
if it came in the
Um,
shop.
all right, tenants. So
Didn't they do something else with the Shadow Tree again? They brought it back again recently because everyone thought that it was originally from 2019, but the original one's from like 2012.
yes, okay. So first of all, yeah, the original one is from 2012, but the second time or like the first time they brought it back was in the 2018 Xmas
20,
event.
yeah, and I was saying 2019, but yeah, I meant right season. It was the season 18, yeah, 2018 Xbox because
Dog versus
that's how
hoodie.
I got it. Yeah, yeah, I remember being on dog trying to help them win. That was definitely, I guess,
Bro,
not
come on,
the
Kitty had wildfire back then. That was like unstoppable.
well, they also had like Pandora and stuff. People that
I know Mal was on both teams actually for a little bit.
yeah, well, Mal was on SSH, so he was gonna. I mean, because SSH was just supplementing KTTY, so it was like, what we're gonna do. I mean, I only left my team because the team captain was literally TDK. Like that guy that disbanded TVZ way later on was the guy that was my captain since season 18.
Dang.
Oh
guy ex-
dang.
the guy explode, and he was like talking all this crap about us behind our back. So like me, Lena, and a couple other people just like left, and I convinced them to join dog with me because I don't know. I guess I just like because I remember being bothered by the whole idea of like one team like boosting another team into the second place spot just to keep dog out of like a top two spot. Like I felt like that they were getting just screwed over because of a hatred against them. But at the time, I mean, for some reason in my sector of the community, there was a lot of people like that just hated SSH and thought they were like the evil empire of Nitro type. It was definitely a uh, weird time to be alive. A very limited perspective, I would say, as
That's
far as
funny,
my
bro.
knowledge of the game. Because I mean, that was when they were still winning every season, so people kind of, I guess, had a lot of resentment built up towards SSH at that point. You
All
know?
hail the lords of Nitro type.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, and
That's
I
NTM's always gonna be like like kings of Nitro type teams.
yeah, I
They're
mean
the
that's like
first.
Yeah,
first clan, I know.
yeah.
I know, dude. Like back, like even when VL had it, like um, way back when like they first started that stuff. First of all, I didn't even call it teams, right? It was called clans.
Yeah,
And
clans.
when NTM first started, they didn't teams like the feature to actually make your own team didn't even exist. So there were just a bunch of people on the leaderboards having NTM next to their name, and
Yeah.
that's
Oh, no,
basically
that's
how it
funny.
was for a while. Yeah, before the team was actually made.
Wasn't there like a glitch where you used to be able to like add that into your name and it would like make it as like seem like you were actually on the team or something that they had to remove? I thought I saw something about that. Or, I don't know. They said something about removing. Maybe they were just talking about what you're referencing, where people used to put that, or people used to have to put it in their name. I thought I saw
I
something else
don't
about it
know.
like that.
I don't know about any glitch, but I do know like on the track at least. I mean you can't now, but back then, because on the track it doesn't show like the color of your name on the track is just the same, right? It's either black or white, depending on if you're like a gold member or not.
Yeah, I got you. Right.
So if you have like if you're teamless and you have written in your name like the brackets and then like a team tag, when you're racing someone, it actually looks like they're on a team.
Yeah.
Then you go to their profile and you realize that
It's
It's just their name.
and
So
just
then
goofiness.
and
Yeah.
then some people have like two different like one bracket and then an actual team they're on.
Well,
yeah, yeah,
sometimes they'll be like, yeah, like they don't want to like forget the other team that they were like I guess a part of or something. Or like they'll disband a team and then to remember it, they'll put that team tag in their name also.
yeah.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that before. But
There's this one time I like faintly remember this, I think, but there's this one time when I was racing and I saw someone with like their name was like SSH and they're like their actual name, and I didn't have them friended, and I was like so confused. I was like, hold up, like what? I was like, is this like a new update or something? You have to manually add teammates as friends, and then I just realized that they were just trolling with their name.
uh, classic. That's like just Nitro type in a nutshell, man. Just
Yep,
goofy
kids
stuff.
trolling.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, really, that's like basically it in a nutshell. Yeah, it's funny
Yeah.
though. Um, I do wish that you didn't have to, or I mean, not that you, like, I do wish that there was a distinction, like where you would maybe have like a separate mates list, so it wasn't like people could be like, "Oh, my friends list is so great. Look at all these people," and then it's just all their teammates.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I wish,
true.
like,
I'm not gonna lie, like I have there's probably like four I would say like about four McLaren accounts that I have as teammates that I don't have friended if they weren't on the team.
uh,
So that's one thing, yeah.
Yeah.
mm, yeah, exactly though. Like, it's just funny to me. So, people will have like a bunch of like their teammates being like super great racers, and then it makes it like there's just no difference other than the star. But the other thing is like that star is there even if they're actually your friend, right? So like
Yeah, exactly. Like
it could look like that they're only your teammate, but then you actually have them on your friends list too. It's
yeah.
also annoying for
No,
that.
that's something with like Mighty and I. Because Mighty's on SSH obviously, so next to his name it'll show the team like the star. But if he leaves the team, then it'll just show an X because I haven't friended. So
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of annoying sometimes, but I mean, it's a small thing to complain about, but it's just something that I thought about before a little bit. But it doesn't matter too much. As far as any topics go, though, is there anything else in particular you wanted to get to talk about before we head out? Because I mean, I don't really have anything on the top of my mind, at least. I don't know about you guys, but
I
I
think I'm
think
all good.
we had a pretty good episode. Talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, I think we got to, and it was definitely an interesting conversation. It was a little different of a direction maybe than I expected initially, but definitely got to talk about some interesting stuff. A lot different than the other episodes, I think, too. We get to delve
Yeah,
more into the competitive side of things now,
I
as
mean,
yeah.
opposed to the
Dude,
YouTuber
this
side.
is
every episode is gonna be a little bit different.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the beauty of it.
Honestly, like
Exactly.
yeah, that's what I love about the podcast is that like the guests that you guys have, like with like the Sold podcast, how that was all about like Nitro type YouTube, and then you guys having Restivian, that was all like something completely different, right?
That
And
was
then like
great.
having me, that's like focusing on Nitro type and the community and like competitive stuff. So like all different
Yeah.
genres and stuff. It's sick.
I mean, the idea is really, at least for me, it was kind of to really get a chance to have different people from our own community who have different perspectives. Like, you know a lot about the competitive history, and I know you definitely have a little bit of your own experience with being a Nitro type YouTuber as well. But we got to talk about that a little bit. But I mean, yeah, we could definitely cover that more on the last one because that was more of Soul's main thing. Like, just getting to allow different people to talk about their own experiences and just get to have a conversation. For me, that's always been the goal just for that way, like
Same here.
it's giving a chance for people to share their own perspective on the podcast, and then also for more people to get to actually hear from them, hear from us, and just get to, I don't know, feel like it's just listen to some homies chat. It's not like us presenting a bunch of information or anything. Like it's more of like a behind the scenes look at kind of just how we think and how we feel about certain things. I mean, I
Yeah.
really appreciate you coming on, man, for sure. It was really awesome to get
Yeah.
this opportunity. I know it was a late night, but hey, we made it through, man. We
Yeah.
made it to the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. Thank you guys guys for having me. This is an amazing opportunity.
All
Of
right.
course, man. No, I really appreciate you.
All of Kraze's socials will be linked down in the description. Well, not in the description and pinned comment. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll have it pinned in a comment as well for sure.
yeah.
But yeah.
I hope you
So make
guys.
sure you support him. He's a fellow Nitro type YouTuber. So
Yes.
you
Oh,
guys
and
don't know.
guys,
Yeah,
subscribe to the podcast and help them get 1K subscribers, and then Spotify maybe.
yeah. Spotify.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gemma for offering to put us on Spotify when we hit 1K. If we hit 1K.
Yeah. Well, hey, you gotta be confident, man. It's not if, it's when.
We'll
Yeah,
take
Yeah.
it.
when we hit 1K. Yeah.
We got this, bro.
All right. So, thank you guys for watching the fourth episode, right? Third.
Yeah, it's their third like episode with a guest, but it's the fourth overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for if you made it all the way to the end. Of course, you gave us a ton of watch time. So just by being here, you are really helping to support the video and the algorithm. Because when a video gets like 2 hours of watch time, that looks pretty good to YouTube. If you could drop a like on it, maybe leave a comment. What word should they comment to let us know that they made it all the way to the end of this time? I think what would be a relevant word from today's? Because last time we did like potatoes, I think
Yeah, and
was the word.
someone actually commented potatoes.
Yeah, that FNT Hub guy. He had
Yeah.
left another comment, and then he also said like also potatoes. Yeah, because he made it to the end.
Yeah.
What do you think the word should be this time? I don't know. How about McLaren?
Yeah, McLaren,
McLaren. Okay, okay.
McLaren, yeah.
I like
Unless
that.
you, okay, yeah, I don't know. It just popped in my head as like a good thing. Yeah, okay. So yeah, if you made it all the way to the end, let us know. Drop a comment with McLaren somewhere in there. And
Yeah. Thank you
beyond
guys
that, I
for
mean.
watching.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast. Seriously. Obviously, you guys are the reason that we're doing this. And it also just means a lot that we can venture into unexplored territory, if you will, and still have some support from the community. Like, it's really awesome to have that kind of a fan base where we know we can make a venture like that and you guys will be behind it. So, seriously, thank you guys.
Peace.
Peace.